Evening all, some more kicking dust. So, right, one of the things we're going to talk about today, I think, is quite a topical thing at the moment. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen the figures of dust. A lot of people aren't logging in at the moment, only because things like GTA 5 are out. And I'm probably as guilty as the most when it comes to this. So, let's talk about that. I think I hate to compare games, but I have a real love for Dust, and I have obviously a real love for GTA 5 as well because it's very good. It's in fact a masterpiece, I would say. And I think certain things within GTA 5 I think would work quite well within Dust, and I would like to use today's video to maybe talk about that. I think it's a funny thing really because when you look at the basis of how Eve was created. Eve is a sandbox. Now, they've always had these two kind of different terminologies when it comes to a sandbox game. One is where, well, literally it's like a sandbox, and the other one is more like a playground. And a playground is where the rides are created for you. So I think there's always been a kind of a statement that World of Warcraft and other things like that are kind of playgrounds, really, more than just a sandbox where you build your own castles and so on. So it's quite a nice, an apt kind of thing. And I would say Dust is a bit out of sync with that because Dust is most definitely a play ground, and I would say it's a playground with literally security keeping you in the tight confines of what the playground is. So nope, only you can sit on that swing for 30 seconds, only 32 of you, blah blah blah. And I think that's kind of a negative, I think, was about the game, is because when I came into Dust, and certainly I think what keeps me here is the hope that maybe one day this game will become a true sandbox. So all of the levels and all of the planets and blah 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 will be persistent. I don't know if that's possible, but they could be persistent levels, and then Mercs can move to and from them. And I think rather than just kind of everybody lining up and fighting, I think Eve is certainly not like that. 1,000 players will kill 100 players if they think it's funny, and I think it certainly needs to be the same in Dust, where you can bring numbers to bear. So all of a sudden you can basically descend upon an area. Now, this is where I think a lot of you are now thinking, well, PC does that. No, it doesn't. PC is still very much a structured playground. So basically you take a ticket, you say, I would like to fight 16 other people with my 16 people in 24 hours. Thank you very much. And then you all sit there in the waiting room with the sort of cheesy music going ding, 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 ding in the background. And then eventually the doors open, you walk into the level, you then shoot, you fight, you kill, and then you walk out. Who is organizing all of this? Where is this organization coming from? It's bollocks. I think they really need to rethink PC from the point of view that if you make it a sandbox, then basically drunk, knobhead nerds like me and my squads could basically just say to ourselves, right, let's go raid. Let's go and deny some people their clones this week or this month or this day. And let's go and raid people. We're not interested in maybe taking the district, but what we are interested in doing is raiding. So all of a sudden, a quick time event pops up on whoever owns the district. And, lo and behold, the mighty, the Unholy Legion Darkstar Army are attacking your region, not to do anything other than piss you off or maybe get a bit of ISK out of it or whatever it may be. And I think, there could be some simple mechanics where the longer we hold the null cannons, the more damage it does to a district, therefore the longer it takes to regenerate, something like that. It's missing that. At the moment, there's too much order in this game, and I think that's a shame because the reality of the game is that it's linked to Eve, and Eve is the most unordered game ever. It's a merciless game as well, and I think too many people will sit in Dust and say that's not fair, and they're the people who literally need to be gassed, because the problem is that that's not how these games are designed. That's not how CCP work, and quite frankly, fair is a complete point of view and state of mind, because the reality is that nothing is fair in life. If you sit there and you get punched in the face, you think it's fair that law and justice comes and deals with that person. Chances are they won't. And that's the irony of it all, is that we live actually in a pretty lawless society. Law is an ethereal concept anyway. So I think Dust would be pretty cool if you had this ability to kind of be lawless. So no, I'm not going to obey your rules, and I might bring let's say the map had a capacity of 50, well, 40 of the Mercs could be you. You know what I mean? I'd love that. I think it would create some real drama, emotion, and rage. Just before we carry on, look at that. I've got my Flayar pistol. Isn't that cool? Obviously a bug in 1.4 where my Flaylock and assault rifle merge and create something, incredibly evil. Anyway, so post in the comments what you think. I really would love to see much more of a spontaneous, reactive game. I think too many people at the moment are kind of sat in that, PC, why bother with it? I want to fight now. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play tomorrow kind of attitude, and I am certainly like that. I never know what I'm doing tomorrow or the day after or the day after that. So, PC, it just takes too much, planning. I think it should be more. And I'm not looking to kind of disrupt. The fact that I'm unable to organise my life where others can doesn't mean that I should get a benefit from that. So I'm not saying we should be able to take districts immediately, that kind of stuff. But I think the reality is that we would rather it be much more spontaneous, a lot less fair on either side, because that's funny. When you have imbalance and unfairness, then you get humour and rage. And I think that's the kind of thing, because, and again, don't think that that's going to push people from the game, because EVE is a great example of where people do bandwagon, people will group up and team up and so on, because, if you're ever teamed up upon, then the next time, you want to be on the other side of that, you want the shoe on the other foot. And you pretty much can guarantee that if you have this ability to be vastly unfair, somehow or another, so you could bring twice the numbers, or you could, you can hit them immediately, or whatever it may be, then that promotes a lot more interesting gameplay than this regimented and frankly quite boring PC system as it stands currently. I know there's always going to be people who rage because for some reason, I don't quite get why, but some people feel that PC and such is some kind of badge of status or something like that, and I hate to break it to you, but it's not. In most things in life, it's not necessarily about how many little counters and icons you have behind you. Your XP doesn't mean XP in IRL, and I think too many people think it does. Only because when you talk to certain corps and certain people, which I'm very privileged to get the ability to do, I am amazed at how entitled some people really feel they are. This goes beyond. I have no interest in position or anything like that. If people listen to my opinions, then that's on their head. It's not necessarily a right opinion. I could be incredibly wrong about my views on PC and what I'm saying here, but I don't. But the difference is, I don't expect you to accept what I say and to believe what I say and to follow what I say. Your call. I'm just giving you my opinions. Whereas there are people in the game who have the absolute opinion that they are the authority on this game. Maybe because they've been playing for a long time, maybe it's because they're, doing well in PC, or maybe it's because, they pub stomp every time and protest. I don't know. But there are a lot of the entitlement. It's a problem across the globe at the moment where a huge amount of people, have this sense of entitlement, and it's causing a lot of people problems because basically people turn into dickbags when they feel that they're entitled to something. So, to be honest, I think we're kind of experiencing that a little bit in dust at the moment, because there are a lot of people out there who feel that that they have more of a say than others, which really bothers me, because everybody's equal and everybody has the right to say what they want and what they feel and what they would like. So there we go, rant over. But I just, I think, at the moment the game's feeling great. I don't have any particular issues with it, to be honest. I would love to see, not right now, but in the future, I'd love to see more different styles of play, because, we made a pretty, solid call. I think, Darkstar Army's about 2,500 players now. And I think we're probably one of the richer corps and groups out there, but I think still it's worth noting that we just don't like PC. I think having spent years doing POS warfare in EVE, the reality is that when you're waking up on a Sunday morning to defend a POS structure, a tower in deep space in a game, and you're missing out on IRL, you ask yourself that question eventually, where you say, is this really worth it? And I think that's pretty much when we started PC, that was the immediate response we got was, wow, this is an awful amount of work, this is a huge amount of work, I don't know if I can be bothered with this. And I'm glad we did that, because I think burnout and just look at the way all of the major groups have fractured. It's because PC, I think, has burnt too many people out, and it's made them pretty resentful of the game. And that's an interesting one. We saw that a mile off. And I'm proud to say our alliance and group hasn't changed at all since we started it, since we founded it. If anything, it's growing. In fact, it's growing, in fact. And that's a real testament to the fact that we saw PC was going to be a drain mentally on people. And that's wrong. And this is why I think we're kind of keen to maybe remodel some of the some of the play styles maybe that are out there, because it would be good to get a bit more of a a raiding style game going, or maybe a game where all of a sudden you can just encounter another group. I mean, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Maybe some missions where literally you're supposed to, I mean, I'm not going to say escort missions, don't worry, but maybe where you're supposed to go and scan out something. Maybe it's just a level where basically there's something in the map. You have to use a scanner to go find it. I know, a cloaked piece of technology, and the reality is that squads can drop in and out of these matches to try and find it, but also other people, and then you get that lovely encounter. So all of a sudden, a squad is moving around, not looking to capture points or not looking to kill the opponents, but actually looking to find something. And that'd be cool, because then other mercs can log in and drop in and basically fight against them. And if you could, I would remove a way so that you can actually see if anybody's in local, if you see what I mean. You would remove the ability to see who's in the map, because then you don't know if there's a great big squad around the corner. Scouts could scout. You would be able to see like scouts in the distance, kind of scanning and looking for stuff. You'd be able to see dropships and tanks. I mean, how awesome would that be? That would be like an encounter style game mode. I love these kind of things, and I think Dust is the engine to do it, because the technology, the scanning, the vehicles, they're all kind of set to be able to do this kind of gameplay. And it's not. I guess this could be the beginning of a PvE to a degree, but it's still PvP, because maybe you're fighting other people. But I love the idea that you drop into a map, and maybe you don't find it and you drop out again. Maybe you encounter overwhelming force, so you retreat. I love that thought, and I would love to see more of those kind of games. Game modes in the game. Anyway, it's a funny one. I mean, I really do think that Dust is cool. I love the fact that it's still got a really kind of nice crisp feel about it. But what I would say is it's just missing that next level. Do you know what I mean? It's like that kind of other thing to do other than just the same, kind of shooty shoot all the time. Capturing null cannons and assault, pretty boring deathmatch, and, capture the flag or whatever you want to call it. But, maybe this is something that we need just, that's possible, that's easy to do, and maybe would be quite engaging, because, again, I would stress just a few sort of additions here and there would reinvigorate the game massively, because if you said, right, there's capture the flag in here, people would love that. Anyway, there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.